Your life is a sacred song. Sing it softly, not for every ear to consume. Privacy is your shield, silence your strength. When you guard your joys and struggles, you honor yourself. Remember, not every smile is sincere, and not every listener deserves your truth. Privacy protects peace because it creates a boundary between your inner world and the noise of the outside. In a society that celebrates exposure, where people are encouraged to reveal every thought, every moment, every achievement, the art of holding something close becomes both rare and revolutionary. Peace is not born in places where every detail is consumed, judged, and debated by others. Peace is cultivated in spaces where you choose silence, where you choose to guard your life with discretion, where your spirit is not disturbed by the weight of outside voices. When you share too much, you open yourself to the chaos of opinion. Every person you speak to, every set of eyes that looks upon your story, carries a perspective, an energy, a judgment. Some will smile, but the smile may not be pure. Some will clap, but the applause may be hollow. Some will listen, but their ears may be filled with envy or malice. In giving them access, you allow them to plant seeds in your soil, and not all seeds grow flowers. Many sprout weeds, choking your joy, distorting your truth, and making you restless in the home of your own spirit. Privacy is the fence around your garden. It keeps out the careless footsteps, the unkind intentions, the wandering hands that come to take what does not belong to them. To live privately is to live freely. The world is heavy with noise, expectations, comparisons, opinions, and endless chatter. When you open the door to your personal life, you invite that noise into your heart. Suddenly, your peace becomes fragile, dependent on how others react to your choices. You may find yourself second-guessing your steps, hesitating before celebrating, questioning whether your joy is valid because someone else did not applaud. Privacy frees you from that prison. It allows you to walk in your truth without needing confirmation, to celebrate your victories without fearing envy, to mourn your losses without being exposed to pity or gossip. The less you share, the lighter your spirit becomes, because your life is not weighed down by the energy of those who do not live it. Privacy is not secrecy. Secrecy hides out of fear. Privacy holds out of wisdom. There is strength in knowing what deserves protection. Not every sacred thing is meant for display. A diamond loses its brilliance when tossed in careless hands. A flame loses its power when exposed to harsh winds. Your dreams, your struggles, your love, your pain, these are not ornaments for the world to consume. They are treasures for you to nurture, understand, and honor. When you protect them, you preserve their purity. When you expose them too soon, you risk distortion, mockery, and misunderstanding. Peace is found in the wisdom of timing, in the silence that allows your life to grow strong roots before others are allowed to see the fruit. When you guard your privacy, you also guard your dignity. You remind the world that you are not a book to be read at will, but a soul with sacred chapters, revealed only to those who have earned the right to witness them. Peace comes from the knowledge that you do not owe explanations, that your happiness is not up for debate, that your pain is not for entertainment. In a world that pressures you to perform, to display, to constantly prove your worth, choosing privacy is an act of quiet defiance. It says, I am enough within myself. I do not need the crowd to validate me. That kind of stillness is the foundation of lasting peace. Every human being deserves a corner of the world where they can rest without fear of intrusion. When your life is too exposed, you carry the burden of performance. You become an actor in your own story, adjusting your truth to please an audience that is never satisfied. But when you live privately, you live authentically. You do not have to explain the reasons behind your choices, nor do you need to prove that your joy is real. Peace comes when you realize that your life does not belong to the opinions of others, but to the quiet strength of your own soul. Privacy protects peace because it protects you from envy, from unnecessary judgment, from exploitation, from the weight of voices that were never meant to shape your destiny. It gives you the space to breathe, to grow, to heal, and to live without interruption. It is a sacred shield, invisible yet powerful, a silent guardian that preserves the calm of your heart in a restless world. Mystery commands respect because what is unseen carries weight. What is untold holds power, and what is not easily available sparks curiosity. In a world where so many rush to reveal, explain, and expose every part of themselves, those who choose mystery stand apart. They walk in quiet strength, and people cannot help but notice. Respect often comes not from what you shout about yourself, but from what you withhold, from the pieces of your soul that remain untouched, unspoken, and sacred. Mystery draws people in. It compels them to wonder, to question, to seek. When you reveal everything too quickly, you give people no reason to look deeper. You become predictable, ordinary, and easy to dismiss. But when you hold something back, your silence, your depth, your untold stories, you make space for reverence. People lean closer, not because you begged for their attention, but because your quiet presence commands it. What is mysterious holds dignity, and dignity naturally earns respect. Mystery is not about hiding in fear. It is about knowing your value and refusing to place all of yourself on display for every passerby. Think of the night sky. It does not tell the story of every star. It does not reveal its vastness all at once. Yet when you look at it, you feel awe. You respect its expanse, its silence, its unspoken beauty. In the same way, when you walk with mystery, people sense there is more to you than meets the eye. They recognize that your depths cannot be measured at a glance, and that recognition turns into respect. Too often, people believe that being understood in every detail will bring them closer to others, but overexposure often invites the opposite. When you share too much, too quickly, you may find yourself dismissed or devalued. Familiarity without boundaries breeds contempt. When every corner of your life is open for viewing, there is nothing left to admire, nothing left to honor. Mystery teaches people that you are not for casual consumption. You are not a book to be read in a day. You are a library, and access must be earned. That very stance protects your dignity and commands respect from those around you. Mystery also shields you from being diminished. When people cannot fully define you, they cannot easily dismiss you. Labels fall short, assumptions crumble, and curiosity replaces judgment. A mysterious person is not easily categorized, not easily controlled, not easily underestimated. Respect grows from the inability to fully capture your essence. People may speak about you, wonder about you, even try to interpret you, but they know deep down they cannot fully own your story. And that keeps them cautious, reverent, even admiring. Mystery is also a form of power. Power is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it rests in the unseen, in the withheld, in the choice to let silence speak louder than words. When you do not feel the need to explain every thought, defend every action, or reveal every emotion, you stand taller. You carry yourself like someone who knows they are more than what meets the eye. That restraint signals strength. It tells others that you are not desperate for approval, that you live by your own measure, and that you do not perform for the crowd. People respect those who respect themselves enough to withhold. Consider how mystery changes interactions. When you are not easily read, people approach you with care. They think before they speak. They weigh their words. They try harder to understand you, to win your trust, to earn your presence. Mystery creates a boundary of reverence. It signals without words that your soul is not cheap, that your time is not casual, that your spirit is not common. And in that boundary, respect is born. Mystery also makes space for imagination. When people do not know every part of you, they imagine more than what is revealed. They assume depth. They project strength. They grant you qualities you may not have spoken, simply because the unknown always feels larger than the known. And while others may overexpose themselves until they are underestimated, the one who keeps mystery commands a silent authority. Mystery is not coldness. It is not distance. It is not pride. It is wisdom. It is the art of knowing that not everything about you belongs in the open. It is the grace of leaving room for others to wonder, to respect, to approach you with reverence instead of entitlement. When you choose mystery, you remind the world that your story is not theirs to consume, that your spirit is not theirs to dissect, that your heart is not theirs to own. Respect is not demanded, it is earned, and mystery is one of its strongest teachers. By holding something back, by protecting the sacred parts of your life, by walking with quiet confidence instead of loud explanations, you invite respect without asking for it. You become the kind of presence that others cannot ignore, cannot diminish, and cannot forget. Mystery commands respect because it honors your dignity, protects your spirit, and reminds the world that not all treasures were meant to be unveiled. Overexposure invites judgment because the more of yourself you place before the eyes of others, the more they believe they have the right to measure you, define you, and criticize you. Every detail you give becomes material for interpretation, and not every interpretation is kind. What is sacred to you may become entertainment for someone else. What is dear to your heart may be mocked, twisted, or reduced to something small in their hands. Overexposure is not simply about sharing too much. It is about giving away your power piece by piece until you find yourself living not for yourself, but under the weight of other people's voices. When you reveal too much, you make your life an open stage. And audiences, once invited, do not remain silent. They clap, they boo, they gossip, they whisper. Some will cheer for your victories, but secretly wait for your downfall. Others will pretend to understand, yet quietly mock you. And once you allow them into the intimate spaces of your life, they feel entitled to stay. They will demand updates, explanations, reasons, and justifications. They will expect you to live your life as if it were a story written for their consumption. The peace you once carried will vanish under the noise of judgment that overexposure brings. There is also a cruelty in human nature. Many cannot resist the urge to criticize what they cannot have, what they cannot understand, or what they secretly envy. When you expose your struggles, there are those who feel satisfaction in your pain. When you share your triumphs, there are those who downplay them to soothe their own insecurities. When you reveal your dreams, there are those who will whisper doubt to discourage you. In exposing everything, you open yourself to this storm of human weakness. And it is not because you are unworthy, but because you gave them the tools to wound you. Overexposure also distorts your authenticity. When too many eyes are watching, you begin to adjust your steps to avoid their judgment. You edit your truth, you shrink your dreams, you silence your pain, all because you know others are looking, weighing, and criticizing. Slowly, you begin to live for the crowd instead of for yourself. You begin to perform, to curate, to polish your life so it appears acceptable to them. And in that performance, you lose your peace. You lose your authenticity. You lose the freedom to simply exist as you are. Overexposure places you in a prison where your every move is dictated by the fear of judgment. There is also danger in the permanence of overexposure. Once words are spoken, once secrets are shared, once vulnerabilities are laid bare, they cannot always be taken back. People will hold on to them, retell them, distort them, and use them against you. Even if you move forward, even if you heal, even if you grow beyond the person you once were, the memory of your overexposure lingers in the minds of others. They will continue to see you through the lens of what you revealed, unable to grant you the grace of change. Overexposure freezes you in the eyes of others, keeping you tied to a past you may have long left behind. The heart suffers deeply under judgment. Every careless word, every mocking glance, every whispered opinion can pierce your spirit when you have overexposed yourself. What might have been a private struggle could have been healed quietly within you, but when shared too freely, it becomes public property, open to criticism that slows your healing. What might have been a private joy could have blossomed in peace, but when shown too quickly, it becomes tarnished by envy or disbelief. Overexposure robs you of the sacred space where you can grow, learn, and celebrate without interruption. People respect boundaries even when they do not admit it. When you do not overexpose yourself, when you protect your life from unnecessary eyes, others instinctively tread carefully. They cannot judge what they do not fully know. They cannot diminish what they cannot access. They may speculate, but speculation fades. Judgment thrives on details. Overexposure is handing them the stones, while privacy leaves their hands empty. There is power in restraint, power in silence, power in holding your life close. Not every joy needs to be photographed and shared. Not every heartbreak needs to be explained. Not every plan needs to be announced before it is born. When you keep something for yourself, you preserve its purity and protect it from premature judgment. Overexposure, however, strips your life bare and leaves it at the mercy of voices that were never meant to shape your destiny. Overexposure invites judgment, not because you are weak, but because you gave access to those who had no right to your story. To live with peace, you must understand the value of privacy, the importance of timing, and the wisdom of silence. By keeping what is sacred within you, you close the door to unnecessary judgment and open the door to inner freedom. Silence guards strength because it holds your power close, keeping it from being scattered by careless words or wasted in endless explanations. In silence, your spirit gathers itself, steady and unshaken, while the world rushes to speak, to prove, to be heard. Those who understand the value of silence understand the value of self-control. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes it rests in stillness, in the refusal to be provoked, in the wisdom to let the noise pass without needing to add your own. When you are silent, you are not weak. You are choosing to conserve your energy for what matters. Words once spoken cannot be retrieved. They carry weight, they plant seeds, they ignite fires. Many have lost their peace, their dignity, even their opportunities by speaking too quickly, too recklessly, or too much. Silence protects you from that. It allows you the pause to think, to measure, to decide what deserves your voice and what does not. In that pause lies strength, because not every battle requires your words and not every moment deserves your response. Silence also unsettles those who seek to shake you. When others expect your reaction, your silence becomes a shield. It denies them the satisfaction of seeing you unravel. Anger loses its grip when you do not fuel it with words. Gossip dies when you refuse to give it attention. Criticism fades when you do not answer it. In silence, you guard your inner strength by refusing to let outside voices dictate your peace. You rise above by not descending into every conflict, by not lending your energy to every provocation. That restraint is not weakness, It is the truest mark of strength. Silence is also a form of dignity. The strongest souls do not rush to prove themselves to everyone. They do not plead for understanding, nor do they beg for validation. They stand in quiet assurance, letting their actions speak. Words can deceive, but presence cannot. A person who carries themselves in silence carries themselves in authority. Others may underestimate, others may misjudge, but in time, the truth reveals itself. Silence guards your strength because it prevents you from wasting energy on those who are not ready to hear, not willing to understand, or not deserving of your truth. There is wisdom in knowing that not every thought must be spoken, not every feeling must be expressed, and not every truth must be shared. Strength lies in choosing carefully. When you remain silent, you keep ownership of your story. Once spoken, your words belong to others. They will twist them, repeat them, or use them against you. Silence, however, guards your strength by keeping your wisdom intact, untouched by careless hands. It allows you to decide who is worthy of your voice and who must be met with stillness. Silence is not emptiness. It is power. Think of a mountain. It does not speak, yet its presence commands awe. Think of the ocean. It does not need words to remind you of its depth. Think of the night sky. It does not explain itself, yet it leaves you breathless. In the same way, when you master silence, you command a quiet strength that words could never convey. People lean closer, they listen deeper, they respect more, because silence has a weight that speech sometimes lacks. Silence also makes space for clarity. When you are quiet, you can hear the whispers of your own soul. You can hear the lessons life is teaching, the directions your spirit is pointing, the truths hidden beneath the noise. In silence, you gather strength not just to endure, but to act with precision. You do not waste energy scattering your power through endless arguments or empty talk. You preserve it, and when the right moment comes, you release it with force. That is why silence guards strength. It teaches you discipline, patience, and timing. Those who cannot master silence often reveal their weakness. They rush to explain, to defend, to prove, because they cannot stand the discomfort of being misunderstood. But true strength does not seek constant explanation. It knows that time reveals truth. It knows that character speaks louder than defense. It knows that dignity is not in the noise, but in the restraint. To hold your silence when you could speak, to walk away when you could argue, to remain still when you could explode. That is power under control. That is strength, guarded and unbreakable. Silence is the companion of endurance. Life will place you in storms, in conflicts, in moments of deep injustice. And though the world may expect you to cry out, to rage, to fight with words, sometimes the greater strength lies in your silence. For silence allows you to endure without losing yourself. It gives you space to heal, to breathe, to prepare for the next step. And when you rise again, you rise not as someone depleted by endless noise, but as someone preserved by stillness. Silence guards strength because it is the home of self-control, the protector of dignity, the shield against provocation, and the well from which wisdom flows. In silence, you do not lose power, you keep it. In silence, you do not shrink, you expand. In silence, you do not surrender, you fortify. Not everyone celebrates your joy because not every heart that smiles at you is filled with love. Life teaches us that while happiness is a gift, it is not always received with open arms by others. Some people see your light and feel inspired, but others see your light and feel threatened. Some clap with sincerity, but others clap only to disguise their envy. To believe that every face around you will rejoice in your joy is to walk with innocence in a world that often struggles with envy, comparison, and insecurity. Your joy shines like the sun, but not all who stand in its light are warmed by it. Some will feel its heat as a reminder of what they lack. Instead of celebrating, they will quietly resent. They will compare your blessings to their struggles, your laughter to their sorrow, your victories to their defeats. This does not make your joy less worthy, nor does it mean you should hide it from yourself. But it does mean you must be wise in where you place it, careful in whom you share it with, and discerning about who has earned the right to stand close to your happiness. Joy is sacred. It is not for casual display to every passerby. When you place your happiness in the wrong hands, it can be tarnished by bitterness, mocked by sarcasm, or dismissed with indifference. Some may even try to diminish it, telling you that your victory is not that great, your success not that meaningful, your moment not that important. They do this not because your joy is small, but because their spirit is unsettled by the brightness it carries. When you understand that not everyone celebrates your joy, you protect yourself from the sting of disappointment and the weight of misplaced trust. There is a quiet truth. Some people only love you when you are struggling. They find comfort in your need, in your vulnerability, in your dependence. But when you rise, when you thrive, when you begin to soar, their comfort disappears. They no longer know how to relate to you. Instead of clapping for your growth, they pull back, create distance, or even begin to criticize. This is why you must be cautious with your joy. It is not meant for every ear, not meant for every heart. Some people will celebrate you only until your light shines brighter than theirs. But do not let this truth harden you. The lesson is not to dim your joy, but to share it wisely. There will always be those rare and precious souls who clap without envy, who smile without hesitation, who rejoice in your happiness as if it were their own. These are the ones you keep close, the ones who have proven that your joy is safe in their hands. To them, your success is not a threat, but a reminder of what is possible. To them, your laughter is not a wound, but a melody. To them, your joy is a shared blessing. Those people exist, and they are the ones who deserve to see the fullness of your light. Yet, it is important to remember that not everyone who fails to celebrate your joy is malicious. Sometimes people cannot celebrate you because they are lost in their own pain. They are carrying silent battles, hidden wounds, private disappointments. Your joy may brush against their sorrow, not because they wish you harm, but because they are not in a place to clap. This is why compassion is necessary. Protect your joy, but do not always assume malice when others cannot rise with you. Sometimes their silence is simply a reflection of their struggle. What matters most is that you do not allow the absence of celebration from others to dim your happiness. Your joy belongs first to you. It is not validated by applause, nor diminished by silence. It is a flame that burns within, regardless of who notices. Too many people shrink their victories because others did not clap. Too many people silence their laughter because others did not join in. Strength lies in celebrating yourself, even if the room is quiet. Strength lies in honoring your joy, even if no one else recognizes it. Not everyone will celebrate your joy, but that does not mean you should hide from it. It simply means you must guard it, share it with those who have proven they can handle it with love, protect it from those who twist it into envy, hold it close when the world cannot understand it. Your joy is your strength, your healing, your blessing, and it deserves to be honored. Life is too short to wait for every hand to clap, for every voice to cheer, for every face to smile. Celebrate anyway, shine anyway, rejoice anyway, for your joy is not a gift given to the world. It is a gift given to you, and the wisest thing you can do is protect it from the hands that do not know how to hold it. Wisdom is knowing what to keep sacred, because not everything in life is meant for open display. There are treasures within your soul, experiences in your journey, and truths in your spirit that must remain untouched by careless hands and unworthy eyes. To live wisely is to discern between what should be shared and what should be sheltered, between what should be spoken and what should be protected in silence. Sacredness is not about secrecy, it is about value. It is about honoring the depth of your life and understanding that not everything belongs to the public, not everything deserves to be explained, and not everything should be placed on the table for others to pick apart. Sacredness is what gives meaning to the things we hold dear. Imagine a temple. Its beauty lies not in being open to everyone at every hour, but in the reverence with which people approach it. Its silence, its restraint, its guardedness give it dignity. In the same way, when you treat your life as sacred, you protect its meaning. You do not allow every person to step into the most delicate places of your heart. You do not invite everyone to weigh in on your dreams, your struggles, your growth. Wisdom is the quiet understanding that when everything is exposed, nothing retains its sanctity. Some things are diminished when overshared. Joys, when spoken too widely, invite envy and doubt. Struggles, when revealed too freely, invite pity and gossip. Dreams, when shared too soon, can be crushed by skepticism. Wisdom teaches you to protect these things, to keep them sacred until they are strong enough to stand in the light of others. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It hides beneath the soil, protected from the elements, nourished in silence, until it grows roots deep enough to withstand exposure. Your sacred truths are no different. They require protection before they can withstand the eyes, voices, and opinions of the world. Keeping things sacred does not mean you are hiding. It means you are honoring. Sacredness is reverence for yourself, for your journey, for the divine work happening within you. Not every moment needs an audience. Not every revelation needs an announcement. Some things grow stronger in silence. Some things gain power when preserved in mystery. Wisdom is the art of choosing carefully what to reveal and what to protect, not out of fear, but out of respect for your own spirit. The world we live in thrives on exposure. It encourages you to display everything: your happiness, your heartbreak, your plans, your fears. But in this constant exposure, sacredness is lost. People scroll past your moments without reverence, consume your truths without care, and judge your life without understanding. When you keep something sacred, you take it back from the noise of the world and hold it in a place of peace, where only love, patience, and wisdom can touch it. That is how you guard your strength. That is how you protect your soul. Wisdom is also knowing who is worthy of what is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not everyone has earned the right to hear your dreams, to witness your struggles, or to walk with you in your most vulnerable moments. Sacredness teaches discernment. You learn to recognize the ones who hold your truth with tenderness, who protect your story rather than exploit it, who respect your silence rather than demand explanations. To such people, you may open the doors to what is sacred, but wisdom is knowing that these people are few, and that your sacredness is not for the many, it is for the chosen. What you keep sacred is what you keep strong. Your peace, your dignity, your dreams, your faith, your love. These are not things to throw into the crowd for judgment. They are treasures to be honored, guarded, and nurtured. Wisdom whispers that the most powerful lives are not the loudest ones, but the ones that know when to remain quiet, when to protect, when to honor what is unseen. Sacredness gives depth. Sacredness gives dignity. Sacredness keeps you rooted when the world around you is unsteady. To live with wisdom is to walk in balance. You do not shut yourself away, but you do not lay yourself bare to every gaze. You learn to live in layers, offering the world only what it has earned, while protecting the sacred within you. That balance creates peace, dignity, and strength. When others wonder about you, when they respect your boundaries, when they approach your presence with reverence, it is because you have chosen wisely. You have chosen to keep sacred what makes you whole. Wisdom is knowing what to keep sacred, because in protecting those pieces of your soul, you protect your peace, your dignity, and your power. Without sacredness, life becomes cheapened, your essence becomes diluted, and your spirit becomes weary from overexposure. But when you guard the sacred, you walk in strength, you stand in respect, and you honor yourself in the most profound way. A woman who understands the weight of her privacy, the dignity of her silence, the power of her mystery, and the wisdom of keeping her life sacred walks this world untouchable. She does not bend beneath judgment, nor does she shrink for lack of applause. Her strength is quiet, her spirit unshaken, her joy preserved. And though not everyone may celebrate her, though not every heart may rise with her, she shines anyway, because her peace is her own, her power is her own, and her life belongs not to the noise of the world, but to the sacred stillness within her.